It's late on a Sunday night. You're on the couch, phone in hand, scrolling to your habit tracker app. 31 days in a row. Every box checked. Every box a small, private victory. Then you see it. Today's box is empty. Maybe you skipped the gym because your body was wrecked. Maybe you ate one slice of pizza at a coworker's birthday party. One box, out of 31. And something flips. Not a small disappointment, a switch. You feel it in your chest. A hot, defensive thought that says, well, I already ruined it. So you order the whole pizza. Or you tell yourself you'll start fresh Monday and spend the rest of the week doing nothing at all. Monday comes. You don't feel refreshed. You feel worse, heavier, less sure of yourself than you were a week ago. And somehow the goal that felt so alive 8 days ago is already dead. Why does this keep happening? Why does one missed rep turn into a missed month? Why do we treat a single crack in the pavement like the whole road has collapsed? Here's the truth before we go any further. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. What's happening to you has a name, a mechanism, and a fix. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your brain does this and how to build something it can't sabotage. What is happening? Picture this. It's 10 p.m., you're standing in your kitchen under the harsh light of the fridge, holding an empty cookie box. Or you're at your desk, staring at a blank document you were supposed to finish hours ago. It didn't start this badly. It started small. One cookie. Because the day was long and you deserved something. 15 minutes closed early on the textbook because your eyes were tired and you told yourself you'd make it up tomorrow. But the second that cookie touches your tongue, a thought lands like a stone in your stomach. I already broke it. My perfect week is ruined. And here's the strange part. Instead of just stopping at one cookie, something in you says, screw it, I already blew it. And the entire sleeve disappears. Instead of closing the laptop for 15 minutes, you close it for 5 hours and open Netflix instead. The next morning, you don't feel like someone who had one bad night. You feel like someone who failed. And that feeling doesn't stay contained to one day. It bleeds into the next, and the next, until the habit you built for a month quietly dies somewhere around week 5. You've probably told yourself this means something about your character. That successful people simply have more discipline than you, more willpower, a stronger inner spine. But here's the twist. This isn't a character flaw. It's a trap. And it's not your trap specifically. It's everyone's. It's built into how the human brain handles broken expectations. Picture a road trip. You're driving cross-country, radio on, making good time, when suddenly a tire blows out. Now, the sane response is to pull over, patch the tire, and keep driving. But imagine, instead, you get out of the car, grab a crowbar from the trunk, and smash the other 3 windows, screaming, well, the perfect drive is ruined. Might as well total the whole car. That sounds insane when you say it out loud, but that's exactly what you do every time one missed workout turns into a month off the gym. The flat tire was never the problem. The crowbar was the problem. The slip-up is never what destroys your progress. Your reaction to the slip-up is. There's actual science behind this. Back in 1996, researchers Cochrane and Tesser ran what's now called the fake calories study. They split dieters into 2 groups and gave both of them the exact same milkshake. One group was told it was low-calorie. The other was told it was a diet-wrecking high-calorie bomb. Afterward, everyone was given a plate of cookies to snack on. The group who believed they'd already blown it ate significantly more cookies than the group who didn't. Same milkshake, same calories. The only difference was the belief that the streak was already broken, and that belief alone was enough to collapse their self-control. So here's your first small shift, and it's almost embarrassingly simple. The next time you slip, don't reach for the crowbar. Say it out loud if you have to. This is one wrong turn, not a car crash. I'm getting back on the road right now. That one sentence, said in the moment, is often the entire difference between a bad day and a dead goal. But if this what the hell spiral is just an emotional overreaction, why does giving up feel so physically overwhelming? Why does it feel less like a thought and more like your body running out of gas? To understand that, we need to go deeper than psychology. We need to go into the wiring of the brain itself. Why is it happening? You're deep into a workout or hunched over your desk fighting through a dense chapter. Your chest is tight, your muscles are burning, or your brain feels like it's wading through fog. Then the task gets just a little bit harder. The next set is heavier. The next paragraph is denser. And out of nowhere, a voice detonates in your skull. I can't do this anymore. This is too much. I have to stop. And you do. Almost instantly. You drop the weights or you slam the laptop shut, and for 1 second, relief washes over you like cool water. Then, right behind it, disappointment creeps in, because some part of you knows you just quit again. Here's what makes this worse. Your brain doesn't file that moment away as, I chose to stop. It files that activity, the gym, the study desk, the hard project, as a source of pain. Which means tomorrow, it takes even more effort just to walk back through that door. We've always assumed that pushing through this feeling is purely a mental test, that we just need a stronger willpower muscle to grit our teeth through the burn. But here's the twist that changes everything. Motivation isn't just a mental choice. Your brain has an actual physical circuit breaker built in, one designed to cut your drive the second stress crosses a certain threshold. Think of your brain's motivation system like the fuse box in your house. Every task sends a little electrical current of stress through the system. Most days, the current stays low, and the lights, your drive, your energy, your focus, stay on. But push the current too high, too fast, and the fuse trips. Not gradually, instantly. The power to your motivation just cuts out, and you're left standing in the dark wondering why you suddenly have zero desire to keep going. This isn't a defect. It's evolution doing exactly what it was built to do, protecting you from burning through your limited energy on a task with no guaranteed reward. In the wild, an animal that keeps digging for food long after it's clearly not there dies faster than one that knows when to walk away. In 2019, researchers publishing in the journal Cell ran an experiment on mice chasing something we all understand: sugar water. Every time the mice wanted a reward, the researchers made them work slightly harder for it, requiring more and more pokes at a lever. As the mice approached their breaking point, the moment right before they gave up entirely, a specific set of brain cells called nociceptin neurons, sitting in the brain's reward center, lit up and flooded the area with a chemical called nociceptin. That chemical directly suppressed dopamine. It didn't just make the mice tired, it chemically switched off their motivation, right on schedule, right before they quit. Your brain is running the exact same circuit. When a task's demands spike too fast, it isn't a lack of character stopping you, it's a chemical fuse tripping on schedule. So the next time a task feels unbearably heavy, don't try to white-knuckle through a tripped fuse. Lower the voltage instead. If 60 minutes of studying feels like too much current, commit to 5. Just 5. It's not a compromise, it's how you keep the fuse from blowing in the first place. But this raises a much bigger question. If our brains are wired to shut down the moment things get too intense, why do we keep signing ourselves up for exactly that kind of overload? Why, every single time, do we choose the massive, exhausting, all-or-nothing transformation, the one we're biologically destined to quit? Why does this pattern keep repeating? It's Sunday evening again. This time you're at your desk, and spread out in front of you is a brand new leather planner, 3 unopened highlighters, and your phone open to a productivity app you just downloaded 20 minutes ago. You start writing out the plan. Wake up at 5 a.m. 2-hour workout, 50 pages of reading. No more sugar, starting tomorrow morning. And as you write it, something incredible happens. You feel amazing, genuinely euphoric. This time is different, you tell yourself. The old me is gone. This is the version of me who finally has it together. Here's the part nobody talks about. That rush you're feeling right now has almost nothing to do with actual results, because you haven't done a single minute of the work yet. You're not celebrating an achievement. You're celebrating a fantasy, and your brain, for a moment, can't tell the difference. Tuesday arrives. The 5 a.m. alarm goes off, and your body simply refuses. You sleep through it. That night, you're too exhausted to cook the meal plan required. The fantasy, the whole beautiful vision of the new you, collapses in under 48 hours. You quit, you blame yourself, and the planner gets shoved into a drawer, waiting for the next burst of unhappiness to pull it back out and start the cycle all over again. We've always believed that setting a massive, ambitious goal is the best way to shock ourselves into action, that bigger targets mean bigger results. But the twist is this: the high you feel from committing to an unrealistic goal is actually what blinds you to how much real effort it demands. It doesn't prepare you for the climb. It hides the climb from view entirely. Picture a climber standing at the base of Mount Everest, binoculars pressed to their eyes, staring at the summit far above the clouds. They're so intoxicated by the image of themselves standing at the top holding a flag that they never look down, never notice they're wearing flip-flops, and never notice they packed zero oxygen for the climb. That's what a 5 a.m., 2-hour, 50 pages, zero sugar Monday morning plan actually is. A flag at the summit with no gear to get there. This has a name. Psychologists Janet Polivy and C. Peter Herman called it false hope syndrome. Their research found that we consistently believe self-change will be faster and easier than it actually is, and that false belief gives us a temporary, thrilling sense of control. When we inevitably fail, we don't blame the plan, we blame our effort. I just didn't try hard enough, we say, and then we go right back and set the exact same unrealistic goal all over again, addicted to the high of the plan rather than the discipline of the climb. The fix isn't more ambition. It's a different foundation entirely. Stop building goals based on who you wish you were, and start building systems based on who you actually are, right now, today. That means shifting from outcome goals, I will lose 10 kilograms, to identity-based goals, I am someone who moves my body for 10 minutes a day. Small, boring, almost insultingly easy, but each one is a vote for the person you're actually becoming, instead of a fantasy about the person you wish you already were. If you've made it this far, you already understand more about why you quit than most people ever will. But understanding it isn't enough on its own. So if this is resonating, hit subscribe, because the next part is where we actually rebuild the system from the ground up. But once your goals are finally aligned with who you really are, a new problem shows up. What happens when the excitement fades, the planner stops feeling special, and your effort seems to be producing absolutely nothing? How do you survive when your progress becomes invisible? How do you permanently change it? You've been eating clean and working out consistently for 2 full weeks. You step onto the bathroom scale, breath held, expecting a reward for all that effort. The number hasn't moved, not even slightly. You turn sideways in the mirror, searching for some hint of change, a little more definition, a little less softness. Nothing. It looks exactly like it did 14 days ago. And frustration floods in fast. Why am I even doing this? I've worked so hard and it clearly isn't working. What's the point? This is the moment most people quit. Not in week 1, when motivation is high, but here, in what's often called the valley of disappointment, the gap between the effort you've already put in and the results you can actually see. And the tragedy is, quitting here throws away everything, because the progress you can't see is still real. It's just been building underneath the surface, waiting. Picture an ice cube sitting on a table in a room that's 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You slowly warm the room, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Look at the ice cube during any of those degrees, and it looks exactly the same as it did at 25. No melting, no change, nothing to show for all that added heat. Then the room hits 32 degrees, and the ice starts melting right in front of you. Nothing about that final degree was special. The heat wasn't wasted on those 6 invisible degrees before it. It was stored, building toward the exact threshold where change becomes visible. You are not failing when the scale doesn't move. You're heating the room to 31 degrees, and the only way to never feel that 32nd degree is to trust the ones before it enough to keep going. Researchers Pam Tenbroka and Marika Adriansa at Leiden University studied exactly this kind of moment, the point where dieters hit a setback. What they found was striking. Dieters who responded to their own missteps with self-compassion, rather than harsh self-criticism, were far more likely to get back on track and stick with their habits long-term. Kindness toward yourself wasn't a soft, feel-good side note. It was the actual mechanism that kept people going. So here's how you put all 4 of these pieces together into something that actually survives contact with real life. Build a failure buffer. Instead of a rigid rule like, I will write every single day, build a flexible boundary. I will write for 15 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week. That buffer alone neutralizes the what the hell spiral before it ever gets the chance to start. Because missing one day doesn't break the rule. It's already built into it. Run a self-compassion audit. When you slip, talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a friend who just told you they had a rough week. I missed today because my schedule was brutal, not because I'm lazy. I'll pick it back up tomorrow. That sentence isn't weakness. It's the exact behavior the research says separates people who quit from people who don't, and audit where your goals actually come from. Ask whether the goal satisfies two real psychological needs: autonomy, meaning you chose it, and it isn't just something you feel pressured into by everyone around you, and competence, meaning you can actually track small, real wins along the way, instead of waiting months for a single verdict from the mirror. With all of that in place, the biological fuse map, the compassionate mindset, the flexible buffers, you're finally ready to look back at the exact moments that used to break you completely, and see them for what they really are. The new you picture that same kitchen. It's 10 p.m. again. You're standing under the fridge light, and there's a cookie in your hand, or a missed workout glowing red on your tracker app. But this time, the crushing wave of shame doesn't come, because now you know what's actually happening. That single slip didn't ruin anything. Your brain was just trying to soothe the sting of a broken expectation, the only way it knew how. Your fuse box experienced a small surge, and a small surge is not a blackout. It's just Tuesday. You're no longer someone who lacks willpower. You never were. You're someone who understands that real progress is quiet, non-linear, and built almost entirely on how you treat yourself the moment you stumble. So stop waiting for the day you magically develop perfect willpower. Start building a system that's kind enough to let you be human. And if you want to keep building that system with me, subscribe, because this is only the beginning.